Let's move on. Negotiate this. We'll spend a few minutes talking about negotiations. And again, this was from a presentation that I sat in, and I was writing notes, and the notes go away, and you don't look at them for 3 or 4 years. Then you're cleaning your desk out, and you pull out this page, you're like, huh, that's some pretty smart stuff I wrote down. I wonder who said that, right? And it was Don Campbell. And I was reading it, I thought, this is brilliant. And I quickly created, 10 rules around what he said, and that's what we're going to look at. See, when we talk about negotiations, everybody thinks they're like this. We just automatically go to that kind of image in our head. We want to get a price reduction, or we want to, the price is at 500,000, we're at 425. I need them to come down or something, right? And it's going to be an arm wrestle. Well, I'm here to tell you that a lot of our negotiations, or negotiations in my mind, should end up looking like this. This is a true life story. So our man in the white here, he's the seller. We represented the seller. This is the end of multiple offer night, hugging the buyers. Of course he's happy. He sold his house. But so are they. They bought. And they bought at a price they were happy with and sold at a price he was happy with. That's me and the other agent. That never happens. Come by with me and that might happen. But that just is because we treated each other with respect, integrity. We were on the same playing field, right? And how do we make that happen? And I feel a lot of that is based on these next 10 rules. So the first one's an agenda. Got to have an agenda, meaning, why am I even entering into the negotiations with the other party? Why am I selling this property? Why am I buying this property? What do I need to say? What do I need to achieve from this, right? Next is role play. And all of you do it. You may just not know that you do it. It's called daydreaming. At least that's what I call it. And Michelle, my wife, will tell you I do that all the time. I play out conversations in my head. How am I going to, if I ask this question, what's the response? And if it's this response, then what's my comeback, or what's the response that I'm going to provide, right? And this is big. This is very big for me, and it should be for you as well, as role-playing some of the different outcomes. And how are you going to handle that? Can you keep your cool through it? Because that's the most important thing. Number 3, what do you want? So many of us will pick up a phone and we don't even know what we're asking for. Or we don't even know what that outcome, remember the agenda, the outcome, what we're going to talk about. Why are we buying it, or why are we selling it? I say it almost every meetup. Ask yourself those 3 questions that I say. How am I going to buy this property? How can I add value, and how can I sell it? You start there, if anything, right? And then you get to figure out, what do you want? What's the carrot? You're talking about the other side. What's that carrot that's going to allow the other side to sell at a price or buy at a price that is acceptable to you, right? What do they want? Can you solve their problem? Because if you're the buyer, they put up their home for sale, they got a problem, right? What's their problem? Their home's for sale. They don't have a buyer just yet. Are you that buyer? How can you fulfill that issue for them? Understand what their motives are. How do we learn all these things? Do what kids do. Ask questions, right? They ask and ask and ask and ask and ask, and it's annoying, and they ask, and it's really annoying, but what do they keep asking? I heard it, the same question. Why do they keep asking the same question? Want a different answer. That's right. They want the answer that they want. And it's so frustrating, right, as parents? But why don't we use some of that in our negotiation? Because we restructure or reconfigure our question, maybe we are going to get that answer that we're looking for. So ask questions, lots of it. Power. And not to say that one has power of the other. I mean something different. You ever heard of the concept, a power time? Throughout the day, we are more powerful than other times of the day. Like, for instance, if you wanted me to go negotiate for you at 8 a.m., not a chance. My kids know that I need to have a shower, have a coffee, and then maybe an hour. Then they can talk to me, right? I'm not going to go and pick up the phone and start negotiating first thing in the morning. I'm going to go and pick up the phone or get in front of somebody when I'm at the most energetic, when I feel the best, right? That's what you should be doing. Find that day, find that time of the day for you when you're at your best. Definitely. And we've all seen this before, right? Number 7, get it in writing. If it's not in writing, it what? Doesn't exist. Exactly. Exactly. That can be anything. On the offer, if it's left off and you thought they're going to leave the lawn tractor and it's not there when you go and close the deal, what are you going to do? You're going to call up the lawyer? They didn't leave the lawn tractor. Well, so what? It's not in the contract. You've lost that. So get it in writing. Get everything in writing. Number 8, confidence. And this is what I mean by that. Make the other side believe you can do the things you say you're going to do. So if you say you can close in 30 days, guess what? You better close what? In 30 days, right? If you say they can leave all the garbage and everything behind, make them believe that. Like, that's a good tactic. You want to buy a house that is filled with everything, and Ian will share stories about this. He's got a great clause, in fact, where you can just leave everything as is. We don't care. We'll buy it. We'll buy it with all your garbage and all your junk. Do you know for some sellers, they couldn't care about price. But cleaning out their house, that's huge, right? And you got to provide that confidence. You got to provide you got to provide the side that you say, listen, we're going to come do this because we've done it in this house, we've done it in this house. You can show a track record. So you got to make them believe that you can do what you say you're going to do. Never abuse, always amuse. Put yourself in their shoes. And I don't mean by saying this, I don't mean talk to them and flatter them and tell them everything's beautiful and everything's great, because it's not, right? But treat them with respect. Talk to them as you want to be talked to. Make it on an even playing field. You might have way more experience, but that's okay. Help them out with that, right? And yeah, that'll go a long, long way in getting things done. Absolutely. The last one, follow through. Follow through. On everything you said you're going to do, follow through. And the example I can think of is this. Have you ever seen those real estate investors? They always seem to get the best deals. And you think to yourself, why isn't that me? I want those phone calls. I want that to happen to me, right? And you can't figure it out. You know, and Mandy, I'm going to pick on you. Why does Lorraine call you first? Because you do the things you say you're going to do. You close, because that's important, right? What's the most important thing about a transaction? You close. Access to capital, and you've been doing it in the past, right? You can set a track record, right? So this is the big picture. If you follow through, and if you're working with a seller, and he gets wind or she gets wind of, I don't know about this buyer because I know they didn't close on that property. They bought that one. They made a terrible mess of it. That's not the right reputation on follow through, right? If you get that reputation with an agent or with if you're buying privately, I don't care how you buy, right? Because we make money on the buy. We don't care how you do it. Set that reputation up that you're going to follow through with those things. Okay? Make sense? Top 10 things, or these are my 10 things at least. Agenda, role play, do what we want. Sorry, what do we want? What do they want? Ask questions, the power time, get it in writing, instill confidence, never abuse, always amuse, and most importantly, follow through. I got one bonus one that I kind of thought of afterwards. We've all seen this dude, right? And normally what would he say? I pity the fool. Where's Colin? I thought Colin would have said that perfectly. I pity the fool. This one, if he were in here today, he was talking about negotiations, this is what he'd say. Shut up, fool. Let me tell you. I think this is the hidden gem in negotiations. Is when we're talking, we ask her a question and follow this advice. Just shut up. Nothing. Don't say a word. Because what is one of the hardest things to do? Listen, to sit in silence, right? Nobody, like, it's so awkward, especially when you're on the phone. It's the hardest thing to do on the phone. It's so awkward. But you know what? It's not a game to wait to see who's going to speak first. Because you know what? You're going to win. You're not going to talk. And this is why. That other side feels obligated to fill that dead air. And do you know what I've learned in that dead air? I've learned stuff that they thought they would never disclose. And now the agents in here that are with different companies, everything like that, they know my trick. That's okay, I'll wait you out. No, I'm kidding. But I'm telling you, just wait, and you'll get information that you thought was impossible to get, because they don't know what to say, so they just start blabbing. And it's not a hidden trick or anything like that. Anybody can do it. The hardest thing is to talk, right? When you think about it, to say valid information, but do that. Make sense? Are we good with that? I always leave with this. Real estate investors don't do what? We don't follow the crowd. We go against the crowd, right? Use some of this strategy. This could be a joint venture partner that you're negotiating with. Obviously, this could be a buyer or a seller. This could be anything. And follow these tactics. It's going to be good for you. We good? We're good. Okay.